Welcome back to another video here on Aviator Records. I know it's been a few weeks since I last uploaded, but believe me, I've really been trying to find some good records to show you guys. So, starting off, I went to a record fair last week, picked up some really good stuff. First off, we have the Smiths. And this is their self-titled debut album from 1984. Recently, I've really started listening to a lot of the Smiths material, and I gotta tell you, it's amazing. They are so talented. I love all their studio albums, all their compilation albums. So I want to get as much Smiths as I can to my collection. But this is a great start. As I said, this is their debut album. Love the album cover. Really beautiful. Designed by Morrissey. And I think this is Morrissey, so yeah. And it's just a great post-punk, indie rock pop album from 1984. So it starts off with Reel Around the Fountain, which is a beautiful song. Love that song. Starts off really strongly. Then you have You've Got Everything Now, which is also a terrific song, I think. And then Miserable Lie, which is sort of growing on me. It's a bit of a difficult listen because it's so fast-paced, it's very hard-hitting, it's very aggressive, I would say, but it's growing on me, so yeah. And then Pretty Girls Make Graves, which is just a classic Smith song. The Hand That Rocks the Cradle is also pretty good, but then, we gotta talk about the B-side. I mean, starts off with Still Ill, which is one of the Smiths' best early songs, I think. And then Hand in Glove, which is also amazing. And What Difference Does It Make? Oh my god, that guitar riff is just so good. And then I Don't Owe You Anything, which is a beautiful, beautiful song. And then the album ends with Suffer Little Children, which is also very touching, especially, in terms of the lyrics. So overall, I think this is a phenomenal album. Very glad to have it in my collection. And next I will be looking for more studio albums. I really want to get The Queen Is Dead, Meat Is Murder, and of course Strange Ways Here We Come. So then I will have the complete studio album discography by them. But obviously, Hatful of Hollow is also a great album. Yeah, and next off, I found at the same record fair, I found Viva Hate by Morrissey. So this is his first solo album after the Smiths broke up. Came out in 1988, and over the last couple of weeks, months, I've just really fallen in love with this album. Very 80s in its sound, but at the same time, the songs are just so good. Yeah, and it's got a different feel than the Smiths albums, I think. It's a bit more accessible, I guess you could say, not in a bad way, but most of the songs on this album are very catchy, or very beautiful, very gripping. Yeah, I just love this album. So yeah, it starts off with Alsatian Cousin, which is a great song, and very unexpected. It doesn't sound like the Smiths that much. And then you got Little Man What Now, which is a very short song, but a very good song at that. And then, of course, one of Morrissey's biggest hits, Every Day Is Like Sunday, which, you know, I can't describe how good it is. It's just really, really good. And then you got Bengali in Platforms, which I think is a very cute, very beautiful song. Especially with that guitar riff, I think it's just sublime. And then Angel, Angel, Down We Go Together. Also a very short song, but a very beautiful song. And this album does have quite a lot of strings, and I am a sucker of strings, so I love that song. And then side A ends with Late Night Madeline Street, which is one of Morrissey's best songs, I think. Just so beautiful, and it's quite a long song. I think it's over 7 minutes long, but you know, it deserves all that runtime, I think, because it's so good. So yeah. And then on side B you've got Sweethead, obviously, classic, so good, never get tired of it. And then you've got Break Up the Family, which is it's an okay song. It's a decent song. It doesn't really ruin the album. I think it definitely deserves to be on the album, but it's not as catchy as the other songs, or you know. And then you've got The Ordinary Boys, which was later taken off the album. I don't know why, because it's a very good song, I think. Definitely one of the better songs on the album. And then you've got Don't You Forget, I Don't Mind If You Forget About Me, which is one of my favorite songs on this album. It's just so catchy, so danceable, just really good. And then Dialogue Cliche and Margaret on the Guillotine, which are two other great songs. So overall, this album, I think it's almost as good as any of the Smiths' material. The only thing that it lacks is obviously Johnny Marr's guitar works. But you know, Morris's voice is as good as ever, and his lyrics are really good. So yeah, really glad to have this album on vinyl. Next up, we're gonna move forward about 25 years to How to Destroy Angels. And in case you don't know, How to Destroy Angels is essentially a side project by Nine Inch Nails frontman Trent Reznor, his wife Mary Queen Mandig, and his old friend Atticus Ross, and Nine Inch Nails art director, I guess you could say, Rob Sheridan. So it's a very unique project. They started off by releasing an EP in 2010, and then this is their first and only studio album, titled Welcome Oblivion. Came out in 2013, and I was so glad when I found this, because it's quite rare. You know, you just don't stumble upon it. It's not available. It hasn't been available for many years. And you know, it counts as part of Nine Inch Nails, I guess. So yeah, and I love to collect Nine Inch Nails records, and so I had to get this one. And you know, it's got a beautiful album cover by Rob Sheridan, which with these glitch things, and then it comes in a beautiful gatefold as well. So yeah, really beautiful album. And in terms of the music, it's very reminiscent of Nine Inch Nails, obviously, but then with Mary Queen Mandig's female vocals instead of, you know, Trent Reznor's vocals that we're used to. I mean, Trent still does quite a bit of backing vocals on this album, but essentially the lead singer of How to Destroy Angels is Mary Queen Mandig. So it gives the songs a bit of a different sound, and I think it works really well. I really wish that How to Destroy Angels did more stuff, but you know, we'll see. Um, and yeah, um, sort of reminds me a lot of Hesitation Marks, which is Nine Inch Nails album that came out the same year as this. So obviously a lot of the sounds, um, a lot of the songs on both albums remind of each other, but I still feel like these songs are very unique. And I do love Hesitation Marks, and I would probably say that Hesitation Marks is a stronger album, but this is a more unique album, I think. And so some standout tracks. This is a double LP, so it's got quite a few tracks on here. But the Wake Up, obviously, really good song. And then Ice Age, I think, is very cool with the little banjo, very minimalistic, very beautiful. How Long, I think, is a very good song. Maybe a bit too much, a bit too commercial, but you know, it's very accessible, very catchy. I like it, so that's what counts. Strings and Attractors is another beautiful song. Probably my favorite song off the album. And then you've got a lot of other good songs. Too Late, All Gone is really good. Yeah, but this album is not about singles like a lot of Trent Reznor's work, like The Fragile, which is my favorite Nine Inch Nails album. It's not about the singles, it's about the album experience as a whole. So this album is meant to be listened to from beginning to end, and it's really about the soundscape and the experimentation, the imagery. Yeah, check this out if you haven't heard of How to Destroy Angels before, but I can really recommend this album. Lastly, that was the vinyl. Oh no, I'm sorry. At the record fair, I did pick up a single, because why not? So this is Morrissey's 1989 single, Ouija Board, and it's backed with Yes, I Am Blind, and I think both those songs work really well. Not his strongest singles, obviously. They're not as catchy as, say, a Smith single, you know, compared to Ask or Panic or William It Was Really Nothing or This Charming Man. You can't really compare them with that, but it is a great single. I love that little picture of Morrissey right there by Anton Corbin. So yeah, glad to get that. And then we got some CDs as well. So I don't think I've shown this, but I did pick up the Downward Spiral. This is some cheap reissue in a slipcase, but nevertheless, I adore this album. I need to get it on vinyl at some point, but it's just a bit too expensive right now. So I got the CD, you know. Yeah. And then lastly, I've had this for a couple of months now, but I haven't had time to show it. But this is Ministry's Filth Pig from 1996, which is a very hard-hitting sort of grunge, hard rock metal influenced album. It doesn't really sound like doesn't really sound that much like Ministry's earlier material, like Psalm 69 or The Land of Rape and Honey. It doesn't really sound like that. This is a completely new album, and I really think they got a good sound on here, especially like on the title track Filth Pig, and then Lava, Reload. I think those tracks, which I think are the 3 first tracks, those are really good. And then as the album progresses, it's a bit repetitive, but I still think this is a great metal album, or however you want to classify it. So, Filth Pig. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider subscribing, because I'm gonna try to upload more videos in the future. And leave a like as well if you enjoyed. And I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye.